day, good afternoon, welcome back to my little gardening show. We are out at the garden and my dad's got a new tool. He got it for his birthday and he is going to town on all the weeds. Let's take a look and see what he's doing. What is that thing?
This is an Earth Auger. It's a lithium battery powered electric auger. It's got pretty good power. It only weighs about 12 pounds. And I've had to charge it once doing this. It lasted about 30 minutes. I had to recharge it, but it charged fairly quickly. And I was able to finish all the dandelions.
Yeah.
Look how this is what.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Really the trouble.
Let's do a demonstration. You took care of those weeds, you did.
Yeah.
Got the dandelions, yeah. That just tears them right out of the ground, doesn't it?
It does.
That's great.
Is this what we
Well,
need?
let's see, yes.
Okay,
Is there another one? Okay. That kind of makes weeding fun, doesn't it?
Kind of. I wouldn't go so far as.
So here's a root. Some of these things have roots that go down, what, 8, 9, 10 inches?
Yeah. That's why it's so hard to get rid of.
And that thing's ripping it right out, so that is awesome. This was infested with all kinds of Canadian thistle and dandelions, and you can kind of see Dad's. How long did it take you to do that?
Well, probably
About an hour.
The whole patch.
How long would have it taken us if we were hand digging them all out?
Probably 2 or 3.
A couple of days, I tell you. And sore back.
Yeah.
Let's go in there and
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, so here's a candidate, big old dandelion. Let's see what happens. So you put it at the base, near the base. And look at that. Ripped them right out.
And you really don't have to put very much down
pressure.
No, in fact, they advise not to do, especially if you're digging a hole in hard ground. You just let the auger do it, close stuff down. He's out of there.
Look at that. Well, that's great. Yeah.
We'll get these dandelions before they seed.
Yeah, you'll have this all weed free within a day.
Well, let's say a couple of hours.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. It's also going to come in handy planting the tomatoes. We'll be able to just drill the hole down real quick, and
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll do one more here. Wow, that's great.
Just churned it up.
All right, well, let's while you're doing that, I'm gonna check the greenhouse real quick.
Okay. I'll keep working on battery goes down.
Okay.
So you can find a battery power back right pressing that.
It's still got some juice, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, it's almost out.
Uh-oh.
When it's down to 1 dot.
We'll have to get you an upgraded battery.
Well, I ordered another one just like this.
Oh, you did? That's awesome.
The really powerful one would have cost $210, $15.
Oh my goodness.
I got this one for $83.
That's not bad. Yeah, just switch them out, charge them.
That's
So.
right. And they do the job.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for the birthday gift.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're gonna get use out of this too.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun this year with that. All right, so there you have it. That's the Landworks auger, right?
Yeah.
Electric powered. So
Lithium battery.
we'll probably make more videos of this thing as we're using it in the garden this year. But we'll go up to the greenhouse now. I'll show you what I got going on. All right, so we're up at the greenhouse, and I pressure washed this a couple weeks ago. Looks practically brand new. Though there's some bird poop on the top now. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I've got my shade cloth. This is basically just pet screen, like, you know, for like a screen door, like an 8-foot piece that I've got draped over. And then just, we had some old metal shelving supports that we trimmed to length where they sit on these here, and rest it and weights this down so it doesn't blow away. Now PowerM sells a kit that would attach on the inside, and maybe eventually I'll get that, and then my sister will throw this on my sister's greenhouse, but for now this is working just fine. I put this up yesterday because we were bringing the peppers over and they're not hardened off yet. They're not used to like full sun, full spectrum light. They've been under LED grow lights for the last couple weeks. So I'll take you inside, show you the greenhouse, what we got going on. It's currently 70 degrees, at least under the shaded portion where this is measuring temp. We did run the heater last night, and it appears that everything's going well. I don't see any peppers that have wilted over at all. In fact, everything's looking really healthy. There was the one that I thought I was going to lose earlier on, but it's still hanging in there. We'll see how that goes. But they've really perked up. Some of these are growing quite nicely, and they'll continue to grow. They'll actually grow faster now that they're in the greenhouse with warmer temps and getting you know, full sun. Probably in a day or two I'll remove this shade cloth and allow them to get full sun. Right now they're kind of getting filtered sunlight through the screen, but this actually does a great job keeping the temp down, but we do want the temp to go up at some point. My greens, they've been in the greenhouse now for a couple weeks. They are really healthy looking. I fertilized them yesterday. I've got some plants down here that are showing just a little bit of deficiency, and the reason why is this should be a darker, just a little bit darker green foliage. So though I don't know, I mean, I've been fertilizing, you know, same schedule, all these plants. This kale looks the right color. These cabbages look like the right color. So it could be that the kohlrabi, that's just kind of their color at this stage, but I don't know, it looks a little yellowish, like just a little light green. So I've been feeding these here lately with the Mid-Liter constant feed fertilizer mix. I'm gonna supplement that with, it's almost like fish emulsion stuff. It's a 4-3-3 mix. It's got some trace minerals. It's an organic thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and give my greens another feeding of that specifically, just to head off any kind of deficiency on that. Whereas a Mid-Liter constant feed is the full spectrum. This is a more focused blend on the things that these plants might be deficient in terms of like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. So we're going to go ahead and apply that to these. I'm going to check the water level, just the moisture of my plants as well, and just make sure everything's still good. Because the thing is that if the growing mix, if it's dry and the leaves start to wilt, you know, I'm stressing the plants. They're no longer growing. They're focusing on trying to survive, not grow. They're conserving energy. It's a limiting factor for them. I don't want that. I want the conditions to be right, because once I have them in the soil, even though like it's going to be wind and full sun, they're going to have access to the soil and everything that's there, cover mulch, moisture. They'll have access to more than what they've got in these little pots. Though I do have them in decent sized pots, just for kind of a long term to head things off and just give them the best possible start, so that they have a really good, nice root ball when I get them in the ground, so that they can draw up more nutrients and really get established once we get going. So we're going to go ahead and apply the fertilizer mix, and then probably help Dad out a little bit in the garden. Now this mix in particular, I've had really good results with this. It's BioThrive Grow. I've actually got a video I made last year on this specifically, but basically it's a cap full. You know, there's directions on the back, 2 teaspoons per gallon of water. You know, so I've got a 2-gallon sprayer there. I put about four teaspoons in there, 4 to 5. I kind of eyeballed it. Filled this up, you know, mixed it real good. Make sure it's aired up. And then basically I'm going to take that in. I've got my sprayer where I can adjust the spray, and I'm going to basically fertilize all the plants. One thing, if you're gardening and stuff, having a little sprayer pack like this thing's been awesome. Makes watering a lot easier, especially applying fertilizers, things of that nature. Really like this backpack. So we're going to go in, fertilize all these plants, and basically I'm just going to be hitting them in the root zone. Each one of them, be kind of careful because these are packed in tight. I don't want to break any of the foliage, and then we'll be done. And one thing I like about this sprayer is I can kind of get in there right there at the root zone and tag these plants for 8 or 9 seconds. This stuff's got a little bit of an odor, but not as bad as the fish emulsion. And we'll apply this or the mid-lighter constant feed as needed till we can get these in the ground, which will still be at least a few days, if not a few weeks out, depending. Because one thing too that I need to do is get these plants outside a little bit so they get a little more accustomed to the wind and things like that. Because if I plant them out straight now with the straight line winds, unless I provide some kind of protection, these are going to get wind whipped and probably broken, you know, potentially broken stems. They're just not acclimated yet to the environment, and it's a process. So here's our ones that I think I need a little bit extra. Finish that up. Yeah, you know, growing plants, tending a garden, it's a process for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things you need to consider. It's a process getting plants out. Obviously, if you can start seedlings outdoors in an environment where they're gonna, you know, like direct sow, and they can come up in that environment, you know, experience those conditions, you know, the process is faster. But given the you know, as far as starting seed, the challenge though with that is that given the growing season, oftentimes a lot of these plants you do need to start earlier than what your season is, so that you get them at a stage so that you can get a harvest within your season without having to provide additional cover or protection to extend the season later on. Just some things to consider for sure. Definitely blessed to have the greenhouse, have the space that I got, you know, in the basement, this little grow room I got that I start things in, and just the opportunity to kind of do this and, you know, cultivate things and watch things grow and reap a harvest from it. It's a blessing. It's rewarding, you know, to see kind of the fruit of your labors and kind of take something, just a real tiny little seed, and plant it and then watch it just develop and grow and then become this huge plant and be able to produce, you know, hundreds of seeds for you, you know, so you can kind of keep that going generation after generation, and so really enjoy it. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the fertilizing, and again spend some time with Dad, and then we'll probably head home. So guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.